Now, today we'll be talking about two things, and we'll look for how we can brush through them in 1 hour or less. And they are both in line with, the intimacy part of marriage. The first one is honeymoon, and the other one is sex in marriage. Yeah, when we talk about honeymoon, sex is part of the things that make up honeymoon. And honeymoon basically means the first intimacy between husband and wife after they got married. And it's expected to be a very special moment. If not for this period when things have actually gone out of order, that people have really explored intimacy even before they got married. For example, even from university, people have started practicing cohabitation, whereby a guy and a lady that are still in school will be living together, and practically they'll be living like husband and wife. The woman will wash clothes for the guy, we cook for him, they'll be having sex with each other every day. So now, in that kind of situation, most of the time, those kind of cohabitation life don't really last, because eventually boredom sets in, familiarity sets in, and it looks like, what else do we want in this relationship? Everything we want in marriage, we've already explored it. One or both of the parties, they lose value for each other. Do you understand? So for people like that, eventually, if they're able to manage their relationship and they get married, there's a tendency that there will be nothing special about that honeymoon. That's why it's always, when the Bible is talking about marriage is honorable, bed undefiled, what is Bible just saying that indirectly or saying directly and trying to say in ambiguous words is that save the first time of your intimacy to your marriage night till you are married, till you are declared husband and wife. Now, why we decided to pick the two is that honeymoon is the first phase, and sex in marriage is the next stage, because it's going to continue. And how are they related? The intimacy in marriage, it's supposed to be a continuation of honeymoon, because we always put a lot of specialty to honeymoons, a lot of specialty, because it's the first time, maybe the first time the guy is seeing the nakedness of the lady, the first, and vice versa. So, the shacking is always there. But as time goes on in marriage, those things may not want to be as shocking as it used to be. That's why we always advise that we should always make every intimacy period of our marriage honeymoon. Consciously or unconsciously, let that your partner say shock you. So let's go to the first one, which is honeymoon. And because we are treating this first, because that's the first thing you're going to encounter. And it is very important to talk about this honeymoon, because the experience you have in your honeymoon may define how the intimate part of your marriage will be for a long time, if not for the lifetime of that marriage. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? Do you understand me?
I understand.
Because
Yes,
if
sir.
they get it wrong, if they eventually give wrong ideas to each other, and they can continue to live with that idea throughout their period in marriage, throughout their times in marriage. If the first experience was painful during honeymoon, it can make the one that has experienced that pain to continue to dread making love continuously, because everything he or she will be having, especially the woman, what she'll be having at the back of her heart is pain, pain, pain. Especially if that honeymoon is the first time she's even getting involved in sexual intercourse. So that's why it's important to get it right. Apart from the issue of pain, even connection. If you see your partner and you start developing a kind of which English can I do? There's no attraction. Oh, this is even the way you look. So this is the size of your penis. This is even how your breasts look like. If we start if that kind of idea comes in from honeymoon, it is possible that that is what they will carry throughout their marriage, and that's the problem. And that is when it's for marriages that look like problems start from the beginning. One of them starts losing interest in the other from the beginning because they didn't manage their honeymoon properly. So let's go into this teaching briefly. If we are going to be using memory verse of Song of Solomon chapter 2 verse 4, and it says, he brought me to the banqueting house, and his banner over me was love. Honeymoon is the period immediately after the ceremony of wedding, whereby couples have planned to be alone. It is just a moment of planning. It is not every honeymoon that couples have sex. Don't let me lie to you, because I just mentioned it that the idea, the experience of honeymoon can be spread throughout the marriage. So many people sometimes, if they get it wrong from honeymoon, many people have the mindset that they must have sex on their honeymoon. It's not a must, but it is not bad. It is necessary that couples should at least enjoy their companionship at that moment. Yes, I'm not saying that you cannot pray during your honeymoon, but you've prayed a lot of prayer in marriage, fine. When they are joining you together, they prayed for you, fine. When you get to your hotel room, it is good that you also pray and commit that marriage into God's hand. But honeymoon is not really, it's not a must that honeymoon should be a time of, this is the first day of our marriage. You have to pray all through, unless you are divinely instructed, you are led, you have that feeling. But it is a period for you guys to start planning your marriage, to get to know yourself better. Even if you're not going to have sex, at least that's the period that you're supposed to at least have your first intimate moment. By maybe you're going to cuddle, you're going to kiss, you're going to have romance. Why I said it is not a must for couples to actually, it's not a must for them to have sex on honeymoon is because many couples are almost tired. You understand? And because of that, it may affect their performances. And as I said, many, especially for somebody who's already experienced, or somebody who's just having it for the first time, it may give a bad first time experience for that person, and that person may start thinking that's the way it used to be in marriage. So, but it is totally dependent on the couple what you want to do on your honeymoon night. But it is just a moment whereby husband and wife have set to be together alone. No best man, no best lady, no parents, and whatever you want to do at that moment. But it's also expected that it should be the first time couples should be intimate. Maybe have sex. Well, they may not have sex. They may cuddle, they may kiss, and if they decide to just pray and do other things. Now, in the Bible days, it was over 1 year before. They used to have honeymoon used to take place for like a year. So that's why you should know. It has to give you an idea of how important honeymoon is, because that's when you're going to lay the foundation of your connection, intimate connection. So just imagine people, but husband and wife, they're not working. They're just together in one room for 1 year. And, just wake up, eat, talk to each other, sleep with each other, sleep again, for 1 year. And I think I'm beginning to understand that it will even be more interesting that time. You understand? Because the one we have people do now, because of people have to go back to work, their leave, 1 week, 2 weeks, people are already getting back to their places of work. But that's the way it used to be right from the Old Testament. So for us to know how important, how sacred honeymoon is, Deuteronomy chapter 24 verse 5 is a good Bible reference to that. It depends on the people involved. Nowadays, it's mostly 2 weeks, as I said earlier. You can decide to stay longer than that. Many people will just travel to another place and be away. But in a situation whereby the husband and wife, you are not doing enough of your job, you are employed, you cannot take as long as you want. You may just want to take your honeymoon within the period you have been given your leave. That's why when you are planning your wedding, when you are taking your leave, you should take it tactically in a way that you'll be able to enjoy your time together. You understand? So that not that when you are even during your honeymoon, they'll still be calling you from work. You know, people like us that were into IT, especially if you are the head of IT or you are one of their best staff, and they will keep calling you. It may even be a time that they will have to even just give privilege of call to only certain people alone, just to be able to check on you and know that you are doing well. If possible, you may even want to even do a general bowing, not because you don't talk to people, but because you want to set that period aside. But for the sake of security, for the sake of, but you still give privilege to some people to be able to check on you, to know that you guys are doing well. You want to, any call that has to do with work, avoid them. I know that nothing again until we finish with what we are doing. So you can choose the time depending on both of you, depending on the availability of money, how financially buoyant you guys are. Now, the importance of honeymoon is a time of resting. So as I said earlier on, it is not about just believe that it is about the time to even make love. That's just part of it. It's a period for you to rest. It's a period of resting. And especially that, as I said it, the first night, if you needed to rest, please rest. It's not a must that you must have sex that night, especially if one is tired and the other one wants to have it. That is when a bad foundation is being laid for marriage. You guys just finished wedding. It won't be you in Jesus' name. You guys just finished wedding. The wife is very tired. The husband is still ready to have sex. But honeymoon now, if you're not careful, argument can start from that night. Because one wants to have sex, the other one is saying, but let us wait till tomorrow. We still have another day, Or the husband will be angry. Since this thing I've been waiting, we've been doing abstinence in relationship for how long? Tonight again, you are saying, before you know it, it becomes a problem. Even if the guy agrees with you, he may not be happy. And all these reactions are not good for a good marriage. It's a young marriage, a marriage that's just starting. So that's why you guys need to plan your honeymoon. Okay, this is what we'll be doing. Like we did not have sex on our first honeymoon night because we were tired. 1, 2, my wife was a virgin. So I knew that, okay, I was already tired. If I tried to do anything, it was going to be awful. I was going to end up putting her in so much pain. So, and again, the next day was our Thanksgiving because of our parents that were returning back to their church in the neighboring state. So, you see, it was our decision. So that's just to buttress the point that honeymoon is a time of resting. It's one of the things you put in your mind. So you need to plan this accordingly. So, and time for reflecting over the courtship days and wedding days ceremony. Those times you were courting, things that you think went wrong, things that went well, and how you want to now move on from there to your marriage. Things you want to drop, bad things that happened during the really courtship and you want to drop, and the good things that happened during the relationship that you want to continue or improve on. Then how your wedding went, the ceremony, this person did this and that, blah, 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 that's the time to talk about those things. Time of praying for the future life together as husband and wife. Now, prayer for pregnancy stage and children, love life, delivery, job, career, etc. As I said at that time too, one of the things that you may want to do during your courtship is prayer. It's prayer. I'm not saying that you should use the whole night to pray, and you can use it to pray, but just ensure that it is subject to an agreement between both of you. But these are the things that you can do, not the things that you must do, things that you can do during your courtship. Time for planning towards the future, time of heart-to-heart discussion, time of agreement, time to learn about each other, time to communicate, time to learn, time to forgive, time to start discovering new things about each other. Discover new things about each other. That's the time to ask questions. Okay, what do you like? If both of you have had sexual experience before now, that is the time to really talk about the private things that you've never mentioned before about sex. Maybe I love this tie, I love this tie, I love it, I love somebody that can fondle my breast, somebody, things that you want to bring into when you want to talk about positions, or can you do this, can you suck breast, what can I touch in your body. As your husband can ask him, can you touch his coach, all those kind of things. These are good times to talk. Even during courtship, yes, we can discuss about sex, but there's a limit to the discussion we can have about sex, because some discussions about sex can advance, can start triggering our emotions, and before we know it, we can either fall sexually or even fall in the heart. So that's why when it gets to the time of period of or honeymoon, that is when you can now discuss everything about yourselves without fear, without shame. You can tell him, okay, what you have dreamed about love making, apart from love making too, about your body. I love this. This is how my body is. You've been something you cannot tell him before about your body. It is time to now open it up. Like, not that I'm not saying you should keep secret, but do you know that this is how my body looks, blah blah blah. Because by that time you can open your body up to him or to her. Time to show love to each other. Time to explore each other sexually. And honeymoon is not an option but necessity. It is very, very important, because after that honeymoon time, especially in a situation whereby husband and wives are working class, you may not have that time again. And that's when to make your decision about how much you want to plan your intimacy together. For example, it does not apply to everybody. That was what we did. Before we got married, we've already said, our first year, we are not going to plan about having a child, because we know that once a child comes in, as much as a child is not expected to come in between, but there's no way children will share from that time. So we've decided that, okay, for the first 1 year, we just want to enjoy ourselves. So nothing like baby for now. It was our decision, we are not saying anybody should do that. It was easy for us, and again, because my wife was young, so we're not looking at anything. But even at that, our own relationship, our own communication, our own intimacy, our own time of companionship was the optimist at that moment. And no matter how much we try to make things work now, children will always be children. Sometimes maybe I'm trying to discuss with my wife, have private time with my wife, my daughter will still just banging into the room, because she's not old enough to understand that. You understand? And if you want to wait till all your children, they are grown, to understand that, before you know that, some things would have been, law of diminishing return will have set in certain things. You are by that time, you're already going old. The things that you could have done when you are quite young may not be possible. We are talking about maybe when all your children at least are getting, your last one is already a teenager. So there are a lot of things you would have lost. There are connections that you would have been able to use those periods to get. So, but this is what I'm only saying, is that honeymoon is a time to make these decisions. That was the decision we make. So you guys can sit down and make your own decisions. Now, talking about location, couples can travel out of the area for it. It depends on their financial capacity. So it depends on how you guys are financially buoyant, or your plan for it. You understand? It may not be because you don't have the money. You may have the money, but you want to use money to do something else. It's good if you can move out of your environment, so that you can concentrate. You don't think about, okay, somebody is coming, I need to see somebody is seeing me. If you can travel out of the state, go. If you cannot travel out of the state, you can just leave your community. If you just want to leave your community, fine. And if God gives you the grace, if you want to travel out, fine. It depends on how much you want to plan your marriage, what's the budget for it. So, but when couples want to have honeymoon, it should not be in your house. It should not be the house you intend to live, because that is, you will be distracted. You will see one or two things you need to do. All the clothes you have bought from your house, from your parents' house, all the gifts, that is when you will see that you want to start opening the gift to see who gave you gift or not. All those clothes that you just bought, that's when you want to know that you need to start arranging them. You will want to start cooking. And those kind of activities, they will intrude your time of resting. They will intrude your time of your intimacy. They will also bring in fatigue. They will make you tired so much that you won't be able to enjoy that moment. So these are the things we that's why we always advise that couples should not try to do honeymoon at home. We try to do it ourselves, but after some time we found that this thing will not work. We have to move away so that you can enjoy that period to the maximum. So that you will be far. If for a husband now that maybe that works with laptop, so that you can be far from laptop, don't carry your laptop. The only reason you are even going with phone is because people should be able to get in touch with you, you know. It could be in an hotel or guest house. Talking about location, it could be a private house of an elderly person who is not a member of your family or of any of the new couple. It could be in a camp. You see, it can be in somebody's house, somebody that is an elderly person who is spiritual, you know, because it's also important. You need to be careful under which roof we are making our first love. We are having discussions about our marriage, our future. So we need to be sure that it is an environment that is fortified, it is sacred, you know. Not that when you go to somebody's house, you wouldn't be afraid that the husband wants to make love to his wife, and you'll be afraid that I hope the person in the next room or the person in the sitting room is not hearing the way we are making love. He's not hearing our sound. He's not hearing the sound of the bed. That's why if you can afford it, it's very, very better if you guys can just go out and rent a hotel or go to a guest house. Are you understanding me?
Yes, sir.
So what are we expected to do during honeymoon? Sleep and rest for a long time. You know, I don't know how you really look before now. I don't know how you were looking in the past 6 months. But I know that what usually happens most times, especially for the ladies, is that because of the stress of trying to do this, go to market, buy this, you know what? Most ladies, they end up losing weight. So if that's the case too, honeymoon is the time for you to sleep, eat well, sleep and eat well, so that you can recover, so that you can look very good. If you see my wife on the wedding day, I didn't really even take note that she was lean until now. And when I was looking at her pictures before her wedding and her pictures after her wedding, my wife was like one. If I made that, I even think I'm leper. I even thought I even had flesh, more flesh left than my wife, because that is what the stress of preparing for wedding can do. So it's the time to really eat well and sleep well. Number 2, some romantic activities that you need to put into your marriage. That's the time to bring them up. That is time to start practicing them. What are the examples? Eating together. It should be very, very important that couples should eat together, except for maybe you have different times when you won't like to eat, and maybe you won't come home very early and like to sleep early, and the other one comes late. Even sometimes, if it is not going to be too much, one can wait for the other and let them eat together. We are trying to bond together with that. It may not be every day, but most times, let's try and eat together, eat in the same plate. So it is the time of honeymoon that you can really practice this. When we were doing our own honeymoon in the hotel where we will order different type of food. My wife will order this type of food, my order this type of food, but we still eat together. So we'll first put my own food separate, cover it. We eat our own food together. When we finish that one, we now come and eat my own food together. So honeymoon is also the time to do all those things. Eat together, take your bath together. Husband and wife bathing together is very good, but it's very difficult to practice, especially in our part of the world. So this is the time to really cultivate that idea. Take a stroll and holding yourself hand in hand. That is, you just walk outside, you just take a stroll for like 20 minutes, 30 minutes, and hold yourselves and you gist. Because you may not really have those opportunities often when you get back home, when you are faced with your daily activities, official assignments, you know. Explore each other sexually. Use that opportunity to have sex very well, because you won't have that opportunity when you get back home. Other things will will creep into your schedule. It is only during your honeymoon that you can have sex in the morning, in the afternoon, and in the night for 7 days, later, or the number of days you want to use. It will not kill you, because when you leave that honeymoon location, you may not be able to do that. Definitely, husband, you go to work, husband will go to work, or your husband will go to work, or husband will go to work, your wife will go to work. So even if you want to be having sex every day, at worst once, maybe at night when you come back, and it is even unlikely that you guys will be able to be you guys will even want to have sex every day. Not because you don't want to have sex every day, but because you guys will be tired by the time you come back home. Especially not a place even like Nigeria that even the amount of time you spend in traffic has already worn you out. But when you're in a room, you're not going anywhere. You're just seeing yourselves. You can sleep with each other now. Sleep, wake up and eat. Sleep with yourself again. This is the time to really do that, and that is when you will be. And because the more you have sex, the more it bonds you emotionally. So this is the time to bond yourselves emotionally. Study your Bible together. Because you are having those periods together, that's the time to really do many good things together. Read your Bible, study Bible together, study a book written by Christian marriage counselors on sex together. You can book on sex for couple, read them together. If you think reading will be too much, look for example, like we have some videos that we have done about sex. In fact, when you finish, I just remember now, just remind me. Immediately you get married, send us a reminder, especially me. There's a group we have for married people. We call it Sex Uncovered for Mr. and Mrs. All we discuss there is about sex for couples, but people that we have, they are only couples. So please remind me, do you hear me? So that I can add you and your husband. But aside that, you read books, you can watch video teachings that are not pornographic, as in lectures like the one I did yesterday, something like that. Watch your wedding videos together if they are ready, or the pictures, maybe the ones on your phone, that's the time. Then share your vision together, things you want to do. A lot of things can be achieved during the time of honeymoon because you really have that time. Nothing is coming between your time. Touch your courtship days agreement. Change or reaffirm them as case may be. There are some things that you have really agreed on, but they may require adjustment based on what you have discovered, maybe in the wedding, in the ceremony, based on the teaching you heard during your wedding. So you may need to touch up with some things or adjust some things. I agree on something that will make your marriage work. For example, I agree to always discuss, never to hide anything from each other, never allow third party to come between you, and never to commit adultery. These are the things that you may need to discuss when it comes to your honeymoon period. Now, lastly, let us look at what are the things that you should never do during your honeymoon. Number one, never fail to rest. Please rest. Because number one, your health. You would have been warned out. There are a lot of people that their blood pressure is always high, as that immediately after their wedding, because of thinking, please God, let the day come. You mean 2 days, you mean 5 days, you mean 1 day. Oh, my wedding guy has not arrived. I should be. Oh, the people that are traveling down, Lord, give them safe journey. On the wedding day, have they been eating? Is it food remaining? All those kind of things that can. So that's why you need to use all the consecutive days in your honeymoon to incorporate, to re-energize yourself. Please rest. Never fail to rest. Never fail to discuss. Never fail to agree. It is not a period to visit people or entertain visitors. No. It's even one of the reasons why we are advising that don't do it in your house, so that people will not start visiting you. Anyone who wants to visit should come after you're back home. That is not when you should be accepting visitors. That is not when you should go and be greeting people. Oh yeah, let's go and greet my husband's parents. Let's go and bring my father-in-law. Let's go and bring my pastor. Let my pastors, our people come and greet us. No, that's not the period to greet. And we know that once you're at home, you want to do all these things. Nobody should come and meet you in that hotel. Nobody should come and meet you in that guest house. You should be there alone. People can know your location. People that are very important to you. People that you trust for security reasons. Maybe 1 or 2 people that you can just share. They don't even need to come. But people just need to know, can have a trace of where you are located at that point in time. This is why honeymoon must not take place in your home. 3 is a crowd. Never fail to enjoy yourself sexually, please. You are now married. Sex is no more a sin, but something to never feel to. In fact, at that point, not having sex is now the sin. You understand? So please enjoy yourself sexually. Don't forget that you need to use the opportunity to also pray. We have enough time to pray together. Even it doesn't matter after prayer, go and have sex. It's not a sin. After sex, pray again. It will not stop your prayer from being answered. Don't turn your honeymoon to sex camp. Have time to pray. Pray seriously about your future. As I say into that, you need, you can see that honeymoon is a period to do a lot of things. So you need to schedule, pray, talk, discussion, eat well, rest, sleep, have sex, bring everything together. Study your word of God. But don't forget to connect with yourselves and to connect with God. Then always be prepared to make your spouse happy. And if you can make your spouse happy in honeymoon, definitely you will make him happy in marriage. And that ends our topic, our discussion today on honeymoon. Do you have any question?
You said you said a lot actually. I don't know. I don't really have any question for now. But how do you said something about the fact that okay, the wedding night is not compulsory. So how then do you balance the agreement of okay, let's wait till maybe tomorrow, like we have sex. Like how do you balance it and not look inconsiderate? There's a way people term that wedding night, thinking that okay, the wedding night, this night, oh my god, something like that. So how do you balance it? And I don't know if you understand my question. If you remember, you said if one party is
Yeah,
tired,
I said it. But
so
I also put a disclaimer that
do
it's not a
you
yardstick.
balance?
That is not a yardstick. That was
Yeah.
what we did. You understand? And we have our reasons. That does not mean that it's a blueprint for everybody. Remember, sex is part of the things you do in honeymoon, so you don't need to deprive yourselves. But at the same time, it is the situation of things that will determine. Like now, don't have at the back of your mind that okay, we don't want to have sex on the wedding night. What are your reasons? You understand? We planned ahead because we knew what could happen. So if you feel that same thing can even happen during your own honeymoon, wedding night is not the night to now start telling your husband that I think we should have sex tomorrow. You understand? If your husband is not having that thought, if he has not thought about it ahead of time, it could mean something else to him. So it is better you guys should agree even now. Okay. I'm thinking of something. From experiences, from people I've seen, wedding is always draining. And it won't be good for us not to be able to give the best for each other or to each other, even on the first night. I think that why don't you allow us to have sex the next day so that we'll be relaxed? You bring up your reasons. Even if he doesn't want to agree with you now, maybe because you know that because of the things around you and the things that will come up in wedding, you already know that marriage will be that wedding night, that wedding day will be very stressful and you'll be too tired for sex that night. If you already know that now, if you discuss that with him now, even if he doesn't want to agree, you still have time to really walk over it. And besides, it's not close to the time that's going to have sex with you. So, telling somebody that is not in mood of sex that, wait, we not have sex, the way the person will react will be different from somebody that is already ready. And you're not telling that person that we not have sex. You know that the way the person will react to be different.
Yes.
Yeah. Now, I'm not ready to have sex. And my wife just comes to tell me that next week, Saturday, no sex. So it's like I want to dedicate myself to prayer and fasting. I can think I did, okay, Saturday, I'm not even. But even now, I will just go married. Even I already have I have erection already. I've gone to the bedroom to go and even shower. You are not telling me that I'm sorry, that shower is going to be in vain, no, because I'm too tired. It can be so painful, and it can that simple thing can lead to an argument. So to round it off, if you know something like that may be the situation for you to discuss it early, if possible, as quickly as possible now, so that both of you will settle your mind that okay, oh, no sex, so we just put calendar sex. The first day of our sex is Sunday. That one day will not kill you, but you need to talk about it. Like my wife and I, we just prayed. After we prayed, we've engaged in romance, we kissed, we cuddled, we had shower together, but the penetration we did not do. And especially because she was a virgin and me too, I was very, very, very careful. I was tired too, and I knew that if I tried to do anything, I was not experienced with that kind of environment. So I knew that it would just become chaotic. So, and two, the next day was our Thanksgiving. I was like, okay, even if I disvirgin this girl tonight, how will she walk in church tomorrow? During wedding, Thanksgiving church, my wife should now be leaping as if she has wound. It won't make sense, especially now that I don't know if I will do it well. Maybe I will go and injure her now, and she will now be feeling comfortable. So there were a lot of things that came. In fact, that thought even came from me initially. So because of, can you see the things I thought about before bringing out that suggestion? So if you have so many things, bring out your reasons understandably and discuss it now, not on one day to the wedding when brother is already. And we men, the way we are always ready for sex is different from you women. We are ever ready. So, but you women, you need a lot of preparation. You need to be stressless. You need to be okay. You need to be sure that the environment is conducive. So our advice, you talk about it now. 2 weeks to your wedding. Yes, discuss if you don't want to have sex on your wedding night, or you can even just say we may not have, because I'm seeing that from experience people get too tired, and I won't want to not give you my best. Or if you're a virgin too, you can bring up those issues. So, and I think your husband to be will understand you. Have I answered the question?
Yes, you have. Thank you very much.
Any other question?
None for now. Maybe when he listens
Okay.
to you, he'll be able to